There's always a sense of giving back and about the idea that the best way to learn is by teaching.
I teach medical students because that's how I learn.
We're trying to train people to be able to think on their feet.
I teach because it's a commitment to the future of medicine.
The very first time I had a clerkship was very nerve-wracking. This is totally different than your second year when you're in the classroom. These are real patients with real problems.
I'm here because working with these students reminds me of why I became a physician in the first place.
Data were appearing at a national level to suggest an impending physician shortage. As the state's only medical school, we concluded that we needed to increase the size of the class by 30%. To expand to the clinical years is a Herculean undertaking.
Because of the financial support from the healthcare institutions in the community, physician groups, and even private individuals, we were able to continue our program and expand it.
They have to be gracious hosts of our learners, and they do this on a volunteer basis. This is purely from the goodness of their hearts.
The best part about having my third and fourth year clerkships in South Bend is being able to work one-on-one with physicians.
I oftentimes would get to assist the surgeon firsthand. I still remember my very first case where we had a patient who we had to remove a small tumor from the back, and I was able to make the incision.
The most significant benefit to the third and fourth year students to doing clerkship in the northern Indiana region is the concentrated exposure that they get to both patients and to clinicians.
This is the real world. It's where we're at. We do real world medicine. We take care of patients.
It's just them and the clinician. And as a result, they end up seeing more patients, doing more procedures, and I think the transfer of material and the learning curve is really quite good.
It's almost like an apprenticeship. I felt like I was right there beside you. I feel like I had some of the best instruction ever.
They really keep me on my toes. There are times when they might ask a question that I frankly don't know the answer to, and we learn together.
The overwhelming majority of physicians are interested in doing this to give something back because they have had good teaching and learned a lot. They're interested in giving something back to the community and to the medical school.
I'd like to think there's a little part of me and everybody who's rotated with me and how they interact with people.
First and foremost, it's a heck of a lot of fun. Interacting with the students, they challenge you, they make you think about why you do things.
Because of the program here at South Bend for third and fourth year clerkships, I really feel connected to the medical community.
Clinical years are vitally important because those are probably the most formative years in terms of a medical student.
Statistics show that the physician in training has a much higher propensity to stay in an area that has some tie to where they've done their training.
I have a husband and 3 children, and we're rooted in this community, and the idea of having to pick everybody up and move them for my second half of my med school career, I'm just so grateful I don't have to.
Well, gee, might I like to live in this community when I finish that training? And that's the whole objective of this expansion and of focusing on the centers.
This program was built on the goodwill of the community, and that motivated me in turn as a student to do the best I could to give back to the community.
So my hope is that not only can I inspire 1 or 2 of the students who rotates with me into going into my field of general surgery, but also that once they're done with their training, they come back and be my partner.
Being able to have my third and fourth year clerkships in South Bend, I feel very prepared in going into my residency.
The students that have finished the 4 years in the northern Indiana region are extremely well trained. Those students are somewhat unique in their learning and also in their confidence.
I think this is a great place for students to get their education.
The quality of care in this community is just outstanding, and it is just re-emphasized by the fact that these clinicians and healthcare institutions have stepped up to provide education for their students.
If I were going to try to influence somebody to become a clerkship sponsor, I would ask them to think back to that person that made an impact or highly influenced their lives and suggest to them that they could be that person to one of the students.
I'm here because I love to teach. Students are so enthusiastic, they keep me young.
Plain and simple, I feel like I got a top-notch education here.